Welcome back, everybody, to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I'm Devin.
And I'm Nick.
Great, and now we're going to cut into what we all just talked about. Here's a little thing that we talked about before, the intro.
Groovy.
Groovy. I don't know how I'm going to edit that, but here we go.
It's going to be great. I like New York.
No.
When was the last time you were in New York?
8 years ago.
Oh. What'd you do?
Well, I went to, it was originally, I went to New Jersey for a wedding, and then we took the tram over into New York, and my little cousin took me around to a couple places. Like, we were like, oh, let's like go stand at the bottom of the Empire State Building. Let's go see Central Park. I don't know if we saw the Statue of Liberty or not. I don't think we did. But then my other cousin, older cousin, she like took us to, gave us a tour of the Met Gala. Okay. Because she was working there at the time.
Oh, cool.
And then, not the Met Gala, just the Met.
I knew what you meant.
This is all not going to be in the episode anyway. And then maybe it will be. I'll swap our
some things around.
And then she also took us to Little Italy and is there Chinatown in New York? Chinatown.
So you did all the touristy stuff,
I guess.
So okay, come with us in February.
No.
Why?
I hate. Oh, we also went to see. We also did Times Square, which I know is like super touristy.
It's like so you hit all touristy spots.
And my brother wanted a picture with this guy dressed up as Woody, but then he didn't realize like he had to pay the man, and so like my sister and I were like, "Well, here you go. Thank you for the picture. You did a great job.
You did a great job standing there."
Right.
Come with us in February. Because we go to because it's different. Once you like have places you go to and know and like. You're more so going out to like bars and restaurants and like different scenes, like then you're not just seeing touristy stuff. I think you would like it. I think you would have fun.
No.
Okay.
I hate New York.
What if I like high school girl style, like broke in, kidnapped you in the middle of the night and like got you on a plane to New York?
If a Canadian warbler can wake me up at 5:30 in the morning, there's no way that you're going to be able to break in.
Hey. I'm stealth.
Okay.
I'll prepare treats for the dogs.
All right.
I'll be like, Daisy, calm Calvin down. he needs to be quiet. Yeah. Or maybe that's part of the scheme. Then you come down here and you're like, what's going on? And
What's going on?
Got him.
Yeah. I'll still have the motion activated Halloween witch as a burglary system on top of my already home alarm system.
You're gonna get rid of your home alarm system.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Just a motion sensor witch. Perfect.
When I was younger, and cereals still gave you cool toys in the boxes. My friend down the street had motion activated alarms that he got in a cereal box that was from like Spy Kids.
Wow.
And like it would just like have an infrared laser that it would shoot across a doorway and like you'd set it and then be like wah, wah, wah. It was really annoying, but we'd always set it up so like we would know that his parents are like coming into like the basement or whatever and be like, oh shit, like not like that we were doing anything bad, but it was just like
nerd. What do you call it? That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna come to New York. That's so nice. That's so fun. I think you're gonna love it.
No.
One day.
All right, let's record our intro.
Okay.
And we're back from that past moment.
You better keep the hands in.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
it's a Wayne's World reference.
It's a Wayne's World reference. It's only been Wayne's World today. That's great.
It's a perfect movie. So this is actually how I want to jump into the topic with you. I have a question for you. Nothing crazy. It's just before we've talked about space travel in many episodes. We've talked about this. It's a favorite subject of ours. So how would you want to travel through space? Out of these, I'm going to give you some options so you don't have to be like
what are the rules of the...
So, like, for example, there's, like, the hyper or warp drive from Star Wars and Star Trek.
Sure.
An artificial gate or portal of some kind.
Okay.
Wormholes.
Sure.
Classic. or there's also like the long sleep method, legacy generational ship.
Now, when you say portal, do you mean like I can like open a door and it like opens into like Treasure Planet style?
I didn't even consider that because I've only seen Treasure Planet once.
Oh.
But more so like Stargate. Well, I guess Stargate is kind of similar to that portal method. Or like your ship goes through a loop and it just goes thump. That's how it would enter like your hyper lanes.
Oh, so still warp drive is involved. Or is it more like I open a loop and I can see another galaxy and I enter through the loop and then it closes behind me?
Let's go with that. That's
Okay.
fine too.
Okay.
Either
That's
one.
not what you thought of, though.
No,
Okay.
but that's okay.
Or is it like Doctor Who? Like, you know what I'm talking about? You ever watch Doctor Who?
I don't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we could do that. Either any of those options.
Okay.
Yeah. You're just passing through or using another structure to help you travel through time.
Got it.
Not time, space.
I think I go Treasure Planet style. Because I think it's like the most convenient
Okay.
to just open a portal, walk through, and then because nothing's changing. I feel like with warp speed, like there is kind of like a force aspect,
Right.
And then the other's like I don't want to be in a long stasis.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
who am I, Jennifer Lawrence? You know what I mean? Like, trying to do
Okay.
that, Chris Pratt. So I think I go with portal.
Yeah.
Now this is a little offshoot, but is there a difference between Star Trek and Star Wars warp speed? Or is it the same?
Like how fast you travel?
I guess. Or like how it happens.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes to how it happens.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure with how fast they travel. I'm not as big of a Trekkie as some of my other family members. But I believe there is a speed difference.
Because Star Wars seems like warp speed and then they're just like there. Whereas Star Trek, it seems almost like warp speed, but there's like a continuation of it during your journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, like in the movies, in the main media of Star Wars, like you'll see they just kind of do that instant thing, but you're traveling along the hyperlanes for a little bit of time. It's not like like bam, you're there. It's like you're reducing that time to like an hour or two as opposed to thousands of years.
Sure. Now here's my other question.
Yeah.
Is the universe mapped like in Star Wars? Is the universe mapped like the FAA? Like, are there like lanes that you can get into? Like, I have this ship coming this way. You know what I mean?
Well, it's mostly like hyperlanes that are discovered, so you don't hit celestial objects.
Okay, fair.
Because you're not going to be blowing through like a planet. You're going around a planet instead of going through the planet.
Got it. How cool would it be just like...
Yeah. Well, okay, so answer my question.
Sorry, portal.
Oh, right. You just said
portal.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
I forgot you answered my question.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Fascinating. Fun.
And you're like, now we're going to talk about baseball.
Exactly. All right. So, what do you know about the First Contact War?
Nothing. I don't even know what that is.
Amazing. We're going to go back to 49 real quick.
1949?
49 real quick.
Okay. Or the year 49.
No, like apostrophe 49.
Got it.
And we're going to talk about the discovery of the Chiron relay. All right. So, as we know, our friend Pluto only has 5 known satellites, in which I think they did Pluto dirty, but I'm actually kind of over it by now. I understand why they did it. Yeah.
I'm just going to pause. I need you to give a little context here.
Oh, you'll get context.
Okay.
No. This is part of my bit.
Oh, it's a bit, everyone.
It's not a bit.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about Pluto.
Okay.
We know that there's 5 known satellites, with the closest and largest being Chiron,
Got it.
after the Greek myth.
Yeah.
And while we're exploring the edge of our system, our solar system, a team of scientists actually discovered that Chiron wasn't a moon at all. It was actually an ancient piece of technology known as a mass relay.
Oh, okay.
But we're actually not too surprised by this because the previous year, in 48, we found some ruins on Mars that told us that there was supposed to be something out there by Pluto.
Okay.
So through lots of trial and error, these scientists were able to reactivate this dormant technology that they find, and through this mass relay. And finally, once it was activated, they're like, great, what the fuck does this do? Where does it go? What is this? And so we use this relay and send probes through it. And when we send them, we immediately lose contact. So like, how the fuck are we going to get any information from what's beyond what happens through this relay? And so at the end of the day, they're like, well, shit, we're going to have to send some people through, some real life people. We can't send any robots. So that's where our hero, John Grissom, he might sound familiar to you. John Grissom comes into play, and he leads a team through the relay to find out what's on the other side. And so he discovered that by going through this mass relay that's next to Pluto, hanging out with Pluto near the Kuiper Belt.
As you do.
For those of you wondering where Pluto is and how far out that is. He and his team realized that this relay actually leads to Arcturus, which is the brightest star in the... Oh, I forgot to look up the pronunciation of this constellation. The Boetes? It's B-O-O with an umlaut T-E-S. Boots?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm going to call it Boots. I only say it this one time.
T-E-S?
Yeah.
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 What? I don't know. Yeah.
Boots. Anyway, this is the brightest star in the Boots constellation, which you can see in our skies today, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And the great thing about this was that John and his team were actually able to return to Earth.
Okay.
And they were declared heroes. John Grissom became the face of what is now the Systems Alliance. And humanity, from here on out, enters a new age.
Bum, bum, bum.
This all sounds really familiar to you, right?
Yes and no.
This is all like ancient history for us.
Sure.
It was back in 49. That's so long ago.
Right.
All right. So this is where we get into the main meat of my topic, which is the First Contact War.
Right.
So humanity, after discovering what happens when they go through this relay, they're like, whoa, shit, we have a whole new galaxy to explore. Let's get our grubby little fingers on everything we can touch, as is human nature. Our curiosity wants us to find out what's out there. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, things are like kind of moving. Like gears are like kind of clicking.
I mean, you learned this a long time ago.
Sure.
It was like briefly touched on probably in like middle school.
Totally.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And so we humans are expanding rapidly after the Chiron relay discovery in 49. Connections to the mass relay network and, like I said, collective curiosity of humans drove us as deep into space as we could.
And we haven't encountered anything yet.
Close. We're almost there.
Almost there. Okay. Right now we're just bouncing around.
Yeah, okay. We're every mass relay we come across, we're activating it, seeing where it goes, seeing what we can find out, setting up colonies and outposts with every new relay that's activated.
Damn.
And so by 57...
That's so quick.
From 49 to 57.
We now have outposts in different galaxies?
Same galaxy.
Oh,
sorry.
This
is. I'm sorry.
All in Milky Way.
Yeah, this is all within the Milky Way galaxy. Just jumping around our galaxy.
Got it.
So by 57, our actions are noticed by, of course, the Turians.
Ugh, the Turians.
Oh, so you're one of those people, huh?
Jesus, not the Turians.
Did you have family members who fought in the First Contact War? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's hard for me.
Yeah, I get that. It's hard for a lot of people to come to terms with what happened.
Right. But I think like for the academic sense, like this makes sense. Like talking about it, bringing it up, working through the trauma of
exactly.
it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So as we are the humans jumping around all of the galaxy, all of the Milky Way, we finally get to relay 314. Relay 314.
Okay. That's a lot of fucking relays we ran into.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Relay 314 is what it's known as by the Turians.
Oh, okay.
The Turians call the first contact war the Relay 314 incident.
Oh. So to them it was an incident, but to us it's a war.
A war. And
just like the Turians to say something like that shit.
Well, and it was I think partially why they call it an incident too, for a couple reasons. But this war only lasted 3 months, so it's a very brief moment in time. Yeah. So you could see it for a longer living species like the Turians. It could be like just a blip. This was just a one moment.
Sure.
But for us, this is our first contact. This is big,
huge.
So. The humans are trying to attempt to reactivate Relay 314, and the Turians are like, whoa, you can't do that. This is forbidden by Citadel law and regulations.
Oh.
And those regulations were, of course, put into effect, we now know, following the Rachni Wars.
I remember.
Right. We remember learning about the Rachni. Creepy little things.
Is this... Sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Is this Star Troopers?
It is not Star Troopers.
Okay. Wasn't there a similar name in Star Troopers, though?
Maybe. I don't recall exactly what those were called.
Those bugs things?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, keep going. Great, bad movie.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Right.
No, this is not a movie. This is real life.
Got it. Oh, right. Sorry.
Right,
I just meant like, did we name those characters
the historical
context to
film of Star Troopers
correct.
From way back when we still had physical media.
Right. I've always wanted to touch physical media. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Discs. What are those? Okay. So the laws of forbidding the reactivation of Relay 314, like I said, were put into effect after following the Rachni Wars.
Okay.
So the Turians thought the best option to shut this shit down was to open fire on the humans to prevent the reactivation.
Mm-hmm.
Only one human starship escaped. A bunch of people were killed.
Mm-hmm.
So the Alliance, us, the humans, were like, fuck you won't, and retaliated and destroyed all of those Turian warships that had shot us down.
Yeah.
And so this marks the beginning of the first contact war. This is what happens.
Right,
this is the incident
yes,
that the Turians referred to.
Okay. Remembering.
Right. Mm-hmm. The Turians just see this as someone violating the law, put in place by the Council and the Citadel, and they took, some would call it extreme, they took just police action, you know?
Typical.
Right.
Watching too many of those ancient physical movies.
Exactly.
Learning from history.
But to the humans, to us, the Alliance, this is the first interaction with an intelligent extraterrestrial, and it was tainted by this act of war. Like, we're out there exploring, we're ready to see what's out there, and bam, we're shot on by these people that we haven't even been able to talk to. We're innocent.
Right. Just being curious.
And so the humans at this time weren't really too sure of who they were fighting. Mm-hmm. We weren't sure if it was these famed Protheans that we had read about on the ruins of Mars that helped us discover this relay. Mm-hmm. And so we sent probes, armed with nukes, into Turian space.
Casually.
So, like, if they captured these probes, they would just blow up and they wouldn't be able to get any human secrets.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, these Turians have been here for quite some time, as we know, and are pretty well versed in space travel and warfare, and were able to easily defeat a lot of Alliance scout and patrol fleets. And because the Alliance were trying to rapidly expand, our resources were kind of just spread thin. So it's just like tough to retaliate and be pretty quick on our feet about this.
Sure.
Right.
Naturally.
And so we were trying to hold our own and protecting our colonies and our outposts. And there was one that we were really trying to protect, which was Shang-Chi. So the Turians eventually broke through the human lines and attacked Shang-Chi. This was a colony that we had in order to kind of monitor and protect a relay that was like right there that helped us get into other further systems.
Okay.
So when this happens, that's when the siege of Shang-Chi happens.
Okay.
So this was, like I said, an Alliance colony that saw a lot of traffic to get to other relays throughout the galaxy. And it took a while for the Turians to wear down our forces. There was a lot of back and forth between human and Turian forces. Some victories and some defeats on both sides. But eventually, the Turians just sent a shit ton of ships through the relay and surrounded the planet. And that's where the siege happens. So the Alliance was unable to send any ships up to orbit to resupply, to get fresh troops, even trying to just poke a hole in the Turian defenses to start that. And so the Alliance was forced to fight and survive in ground-side guerrilla tactics. Crazy.
Now, remind me, this is like back context. How do the relays work? Is it like a portal?
Yeah. So these relays, of course, for those of you who might not traveled in quite some time.
Right. It's been a minute.
You have a drive on your ship. So usually only bigger ships are able to go through these relays, but these drives connect with the technology on these relays and send you to another relay. So it's not so much a portal as like kind of supercharging your hyperdrive.
Got it. Okay. Magnety kind of like pulling, bouncing.
Yeah. Because like you have to go from relay to relay. You can't just go from like a relay to a spot in the galaxy.
Got it. Very pinball.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Where was I? So we're doing guerrilla tactics.
Yeah.
On the ground. But the Turians, so determined to crush the Alliance at this moment, were dropping debris from orbit, destroying city blocks. And this was just to eliminate one Alliance Marine fire team, just trying to resupply or get civilians out. And so, and if you know anything about physics, when you drop anything from high enough, it's going to make a big boom.
Pretty big boom.
Yeah. And so there were still a lot of civilians, planet side, and of course a lot of military personnel as well, just trying to get out of this situation. Eventually, running low on supplies and high on casualties, one, and you might remember this name, General Williams, surrendered the Shang-Chi garrison. The big deal about this was that this was the first human colony ever to be occupied by an alien race.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal, and it really, as far as I have heard, has kind of like disgraced the whole Williams family name and the general and all of his kin.
Yeah. They used to be neighbors.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Not great.
No, I'm sure you saw a lot of hate on your block. Not towards you, of course.
No,
but towards the general. And
yeah,
the Williams family.
it was hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of protests. A lot of
anger. I get that. Yeah. I understand that. There's still a lot of anger towards the general today. So once the general surrendered the colony, the Turians then faced their own logistical problems. They had control of this colony, this outpost, but as we know, of course, they have a very different diet to us. Our food is poisonous to them. So they needed to ship in all of their food and all of their supplies. And they thought that they had defeated us. Like, there was like, oh, we probably through this we've probably blew up most of the Alliance forces.
Right. And we said, not today, motherfucker.
Exactly. They were like, how wrong are you?
Exactly.
And so this is when Admiral Castany Drescher led the Second Fleet for a successful counterattack against the Turians. He comes in 1 month after the occupation of Shang-Chi and starts taking out Turian forces and fights back and gets back our colony. And so at this point, things are escalating. It's only been 3 months at this point. And so the Turians and the Alliance are just escalating and prepare to mobilize a full-scale war. The Citadel Council comes in and says, hey, this is getting pretty fucked up, guys. Let's chill out. Right. Go to your corners. Take a breath. Let's resolve this.
Round 1 done. Bell was wrong.
Right. We're done. Everyone's throwing in the towel. I don't care who you are. Throw in your goddamn towel.
Right.
The Citadel Council brokers a truce, and they do this because they realize how adaptable we are as a race of newcomers to space. The council concluded,
pretty fucking crafty.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly we were able to, like you said at the beginning of this discussion, from 49 to, what did I say, 53, we are already expanding, or 57. We're already expanding outposts, colonies, all this crazy stuff. So the council concluded, of course, that the war between the Alliance and the Turians would have been devastating to the galaxy.
Yeah.
Countless of people, too many people would have died needlessly. So they brokered a truce, and through all of these talks and everything like this, of course, the humans learned about the Citadel, which we know is a very main and central hub for the people of the galaxy.
Yep.
And there, the humans were introduced to a large number of other sentient space-traveling species that we all now exist peacefully within this galaxy.
Right.
The Citadel acting as this main hub for every species to come together to air their grievances with the council and pass trade culture stuff.
Right.
So in total, unfortunately, 623 human lives were lost, and just a little over that, Turian lives were lost.
Yeah.
And to this day, we celebrate the end of the war on Armistice Day, of course.
Of course.
So that is the first contact war.
Yeah.
From there, we see a couple different things happening as our relationship with the Turians continues to develop and grow, and we try to put the past behind us.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, it's very tough to do.
Yeah, it's hard.
So the aftermath, first contact with an alien race resulting in a war, affected a lot of people's opinions. Like we've been saying, humans were thought of as aggressors in the galaxy because we were, like I said, so aggressively curious, expanding, conquering. A lot of other species out there were like, whoa, slow your roll, pal. A lot of humans, on the other hand, became very xenophobic towards alien races. Our first instance with, like I said, another ET was getting shot at. So it's like, welcome to the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah.
Just like that.
And so from there, because of that xenophobia, we have very extreme pro-human groups that we all know of, which is like Terra Firma and this mysterious group that's called Cerberus. And the council, however, on the Citadel, were very interested in humans' military capabilities. They saw that we were so easily able to adapt to this new type of conflict. They were like, these guys might come in handy. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just very interesting. We never learn from the past, right? Like, we see that a cycle over and over and over again of, like, kind of this, like, conquering, colonialism sort of, you know what I mean? As we, like, cycle through of constantly needing to and we blame it on curiosity in the sense of like, oh, I'm just need to see what this world's like. I just need to see what that's like.
I just need to see what this continent's like. What are these spices?
Correct. But there's a difference between like the research and the like scientific method of like trying to see different cultures and different worlds and different galaxies and all those things. But also there's this element of like conquering on top of that, right? There's 100%. Always like this inherent, well, now that I know it's new and there's like no one really around, I'm just going to take it for myself.
Right. I might as well. No one's going to use this.
So we play the victim, and at the same time we go, but it's mine.
Right. History is nothing but a cyclical bitch.
Right. Well, and us as humans are kind of like, in the terms of the galaxy, like these spoiled brats of like, well, no one else had it, so I'm playing with it, and it's mine now.
It's very toddler-esque.
Right, yeah, exactly. And like, as much as we've like created now these new kind of relationships and things like that, it is still very like, well, we're new and we're just little and we don't know anything.
Ooh, help me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's, fair. So, continuing on, part of the truce that the council made between the humans and the Turians were that the Turians had to pay reparations to the Alliance for the wrongdoing of shooting on these people who didn't know better. And of course, veterans of the war and their family members still hold grudges and mistrust. This is on both sides,
sure.
The Turians and the humans.
Yeah.
But, we're trying to make things better. We're trying to cooperate a little bit more, bring each other up.
Right, because it's been how long since?
Let's see, what did I say? 59. It's 83 now. So it's been about like
24 years.
24 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since the end of it, give or take.
Next year, 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big year.
Big year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the Turians and the humans are now trading with each other. We're trading resources, trading knowledge. We're trying to improve our relations between the two races, as well as all the other new sentient races that we've come across.
Right.
And there's even a rumor going around. I've seen it on the webs and whatnot of this thing called the SSV Normandy SR1. I'm pretty sure it's called. And some people are marking that down as the Systems Alliance Space Vehicle Normandy Stealth Reconnaissance 1. And it's this prototype frigate commissioned earlier this year.
Okay.
That's supposed to be co-developed by the Alliance and the Turians. And the rumors are that it's going to be like very high tech, state of the art stealth stuff going on in there, experimental drive core to help with this stealth technology and going through the mass relays and whatnot. Supposedly, it's supposed to be going out on its first mission very soon, which I'm very excited to see what goes on and the reports that come with it.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to have to read like a bunch of different news articles to get the real story, as opposed to what the Alliance just puts out.
Right.
But we're excited to see what the Normandy has and seeing where that will progress our relationship with the Turians.
Who's captaining the ship? Do we know?
It's kind of hush-hush.
Okay.
I've heard that David Anderson will be aboard.
Okay.
And he has quite a crew. There's supposed to be this guy named Jeff piloting. I'm not too sure. It's all kind of hush-hush at the moment.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it'll be
excited
interesting,
for it.
not only for like the relationship of like us and the Turians, but also just like what kind of comes from this exploration. You know what I mean? Bringing back into the galaxy and the Citadel and things like that. Like,
right. Seeing what this new class of ship can do for military or just reconnaissance missions.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even thinking of like, we were out of the dark for so long.
Yeah.
It took so long for us to get like into this. Like, are there other, sentient life that is also kind of shut down in the dark?
Yeah, that's true. Well, as we know, like some of it's kind of, if we discover those species, do we bring them up? I mean, we saw that mistake. Well, it's depending on who you talk to, it could be a mistake or a good thing. When the Solarians uplifted the Krogans, some people think they were lifted up too soon. The Krogans, however, of course, I think that they should have been. They want to conquer the galaxy, kind of. But they were such an important part during the Rachni Wars, defeating that threat to the galaxy, that they feel that the Krogans, rightfully so, should be rewarded for their sacrifice in the Rachni Wars.
Sure. But it's kind of...
It's tough.
How do we do it, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right. But then, of course, the Solarians squashed any hope for the Krogan to expand as quickly as they do because of the genophage.
And didn't they start to like kind of encapsulize, like in like literary and things like that, like encapsulize like the wars and like the relationship and things like that? Like, wasn't there like a book or like a series or something like that surrounding that?
Oh, you're asking where all this is from?
Yeah, asshole. Trying to play along with the goddamn bit. Trying to find out what we're doing here. It's really pissing me off.
Well, I am, of course, talking about the one, the only Mass Effect video game series.
No idea what the fuck this is. No idea. I'm like running through every goddamn science fiction, like anything that I know of, and I'm like, sure, and then I'm like, well, maybe it's like something with like the Expanse, or like maybe it's the beginning of like Star Trek that I don't like know, like could not figure it out.
I know I'm not a big Trekkie, like I said.
I know, but like I thought that like that's why like you dove into it.
No,
I've never heard of this ever.
Well, you did great playing along.
Thank you.
That was really fun. That was really fun for me when I was typing up these notes. I was cackling. I was like, this is gonna be hilarious.
Like just like the rage is like building up in me, because I'm like, how do I figure out what the hell this is?
Well, I purposely took out like the actual year that all these things took place in, because like, I'm gonna slip up. It all took like, it's all in the 22nd century, so it's like 2183.
Got it. Okay.
So no, this is all from a video game. This is all the pre stuff before the first video game. Son of I'm going to give you some facts about the video game.
Thank you.
Just to round it out. And for those other nerds out there, you will all recognize the shirt that I wore in our first promo photos is a Normandy t-shirt. It's an SSV Normandy SR1 like military t-shirt.
Oh, interesting.
Little Easter egg for you.
Well, when you said SS Normandy, that's what made me also think of Star Trek.
Yeah,
because of like their ships and stuff like that, like their names. Yeah.
It's just an old Navy way of naming their ships and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
All right, so this is obviously, like I said, Mass Effect, the video game, which was developed by BioWare in 2007. It is a very expansive universe with a lot of lore.
Okay.
That's all canon. Like all those events that I just talked about are huge parts of the game and the world that they've created. There's comics, books, and one movie. There might be another movie in development. I'm not too sure. There are 4 main title games in total. This is including an offshoot one called Mass Effect Andromeda, where you go to the Andromeda Galaxy. They travel to the Andromeda Galaxy through a long sleep method, which is very interesting. There is a 5th game in development as a sequel to the original trilogy, so we're excited for that. This is a space exploration RPG action adventure game.
RPG.
You know what RPG stands for.
Yeah, I do, baby.
And the goal for BioWare was to create an original sci-fi IP at the same level as Star Wars. So creating a universe just as expansive as Star Wars is.
What does IP stand for?
Intellectual property.
Got it. Okay.
And BioWare had previously done work on some Star Wars video games.
Okay.
So they're like, let's make our own. Let's do it. Let's jump into it.
So this started in 2007.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it came out in 2007. And so the game was designed for the player to control the story through the actions of the main character, Commander Shepard, who eventually takes command of the Normandy.
Got it.
This game had a morality system that would affect plot points throughout the game. of your Paragon or Renegade. So Paragon being the good choices, the Renegade being the more evil choices.
Sure.
And the cool thing about this game, one of the crazy innovations for it was that you could import your character and plot points throughout the trilogy. So if you played on the same system, whether it was the Xbox, nowadays you can play on PlayStation or on the computer, you could load up your old save file from Mass Effect 1 and import all the choices and your character, your version of Commander Shepard from the first game into the second one. So all the events that took place during the first one, all the choices you made went up into the second one, and those choices go up into the third one.
Oh. That's pretty cool.
It was
like to be able to have the continuation effect.
It's just all one long story.
That's really cool.
Crazy. It was so fucking cool to play.
Well, because like it's interesting, instead of like creating expansion packs, like creating entire new games, but allowing that thread to be pulled through.
Right.
That's cool.
And there were even like DLCs, downloadable content, for each game that also expanded the story, that added new choices and stuff to go into the following games.
Got it. Okay.
Fucking wild. And so, like I said, you play as Commander Shepard, and they are the first human Spectre, which is what's so great about them. Spectre stands for Special Tactics and Reconnaissance.
Okay.
Which are like, I don't want to say super cops, but they essentially kind of do their own thing to investigate issues throughout the galaxy for the Citadel, for the Council, rather. And so the first game starts off with you being in charge of investigating an attack on a human colony, Eden Prime. Okay. And from there, you discover a much greater threat to the whole galaxy. And you try to convince the council of this threat and also try to defeat this greater evil. I don't want to spoil it. I purposely didn't write the whole plot out because there are also so many options and choices you can make.
Sure.
Of whether like this one character lives or dies, this whole planet blows up or not. Like there's a lot of small to massive decisions throughout the game that when you can bring those, like I said, when you can bring those through each game, it just makes it for such an involved story. You feel like Commander Shepard.
Yeah.
And one of the other great things about this game series is that they improved and potentially even pioneered this thing called the dialogue wheel.
Okay.
And so in older games, in a bunch of games, you just have like a list of options of things to say, like option 1, 2, 3, and 4 to respond to an NPC. But BioWare was like, all right, we're going to take this format and make it into a wheel so you can just have these other options of like, all right, this one's most likely going to be like your Paragon quadrant, this one's going to be your Renegade quadrant, this one's going to like continue the quest. It's just a wheel for dialogue options. It's interesting to me that they pioneered and invented that, to the point where in 2007 BioWare filed a patent for the dialogue wheel, described as a graphical interface for interactive dialogue. Fun little fact.
Fun. That was cool.
And like I said, there's obviously deep lore for this. I'm currently reading an 800-page comic compilation.
Excuse me?
There are so many comics that I bought the thing that has them all in one book, and it's 800 pages. It's very heavy. And this game has received multiple Best RPG awards in 2007.
That's cool.
Including New York Times Game of the Year.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And like the trilogy has gone down in history as one of the like most groundbreaking games, like Best RPG, blah, blah, blah. And to wrap it up, it is my favorite series of all time. Everyone should play it. The end.
I like that you read, it is my favorite series of all time.
That's in my notes. There's bullet, my favorite series of all time. Sub-bullet, everyone should play it. The end.
Okay, so there's only 3 games.
There are 4 games in total. 3 games in the
it.
main trilogy where you follow Commander Shepard.
Okay.
The 4th one is a whole new offshoot story of people of a bunch of different races from the Milky Way galaxy expanding and exploring and settling down into the Andromeda galaxy.
Now, do we accept the 4th one, or is it kind of like a sort of vibe on it?
There was a lot of controversy with, not controversy. There were a lot of what's the word?
Hesitation towards it?
Yeah. There was like people either loved it or hated it, and there were a lot of
like super divisive.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were a lot of like problems with its launch, where they needed to release a patch to fix some like aesthetic stuff and whatnot.
When did that come out?
So Mass Effect Andromeda came out in 2018.
Got it.
And so a lot of the like facial animations people had an issue with.
Okay.
And just how certain characters looked weren't that great. But then they released a patch and kind of fixed most of it.
Okay.
The game was developed on a different engine than the original trilogy.
Oh.
So some of the mechanics and some of the look and feel were very different.
Got
and
it.
you were also trying to build colonies essentially in this one as well. So it was a different feel, not as much character development because you didn't have a whole ass trilogy. You just had one game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun playing it. The combat in it was super slick. You had a bunch of new weapons and other mechanics. I enjoyed it. But like the trilogy is where it's at. The trilogy is gold.
Okay.
The ending of the 3rd one is a little iffy, but like the rest of the game is amazing.
That's cool. Now, what had BioWare? BioWare. What else have they produced? Anything else major, or is this like their biggest claim to fame?
Oh, no. They're a very famous game developer. So, let's see. Some that you may know, of course. Yeah. They released the original Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2.
Dragons. Mm-hmm. Okay. Remember that.
Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. They tried to do their own thing with Jade Empire, and that got a lot of mixed reviews. Then, of course, there's Mass Effect. They've done a lot. And then there's Dragon Age Origins, and that whole universe. They have done a lot.
Have there been any literary movies, TV based around Mass Effect yet, or is it kind of just lived in the video game world?
No, there are some books.
Okay.
No TV shows at the moment. One animated movie. All those fucking comics.
Okay. Yeah.
And then of course like within the games itself, there's like all this deep lore that you can find if you read codex pages.
Do you think, and this is kind of a offshoot of this conversation, do you think they ever do a video game where it's real people? Because you kind of have a plot line set up, right? Like, yes, you control a person, but like, does that make sense? Like,
what do you mean real people?
Like if you filmed real people doing things within a video game. Yeah. So like there's always limitations to a video game, right? So I think of like watching Brian play like Breath of the Wild, right? Like if I can like film someone doing all the options that someone could do in Breath of the Wild, is it just because that would just take too long? Is that even?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There are. Don't ask me too much about this because there are some games that use like real person footage, but it's more of like a text-based game where like I'm gonna have this dialogue with this person and I have these select options. I'm not gonna be moving around. It's gonna be more like I don't know if you ever played Myst or any Nancy Drew games where you just kind of like click on your screen to either like pull up an item or go from room to room.
Got it.
Kind of thing, and then you'll interact with someone. If I remember correctly, Command and Conquer games, they were a real-time strategy game where like you control armies and shit. they had their videos had real life actors present to you like mission information and shit like that. Like Tim Curry was even in it.
Super casual.
Love Tim Curry. Yeah, so like I don't think you could ever control a person. Maybe eventually, because there's just so many things that a player could do that it's hard to plan for all of it.
Yeah, I guess
there has been a lot of motion cap. Involvement, especially in modern video games, and then we could even go back to the original Prince of Persia, which was a 2D platformer game. Mm-hmm. The creator of that rotoscoped his younger brother, and rotoscoping is where you film an action, film people, and you essentially trace over that with some type of animation. And you use those actions, and that will define your person, or that'll be your thing. There's a YouTube series of these guys that do it, and it's very funny. I don't remember the name of it, but it's there. And like Disney has also used a lot of rotoscoping back in the day. For even like Alice in Wonderland, the Tea Party scene was all rotoscoped.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like Prince of Persia, like he filmed his younger brother like jumping and like rolling. And he rotoscoped that to develop what he looked like playing the game.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So like, there's variations of that, but there's no like.
There's no like I'm a person.
Right.
Right. Unless it's like a click through game.
Got it.
Like Myst or Nancy Drew.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my only question.
All right. That's all I have about Mass Effect. I could talk about it for so much longer. I could talk about history of video games forever. I fucking love history of games. But that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to do this stupid bit because I thought it was really fucking funny.
I was like, he's not gonna let up anytime soon, so might as well just play into it.
Yeah. And I love Mass Effect. You should love Mass Effect. Go play it if you can. The Legendary Edition is out, so you can play all 3 games.
Cute. Well, thanks for dragging me along through that, but also for letting us know. What do you call it? Because that does seem fun. I like the lore of that, or the kind of, I guess the lore and the story of what they're trying to establish. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dev.
Thank you for playing along.
All right, tell the people where they can find us.
You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at WhatDoYouKnow_podcast, and on Twitter/X. You can find us at WDYK_podcast.
Yeah, you can.
And make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, 5-star. Tell us what you want to hear about, and just send us some love. Hated that.
Yeah, baby. Groovy.
Welcome to Smooth Jazz Podcast.
That's exactly what that was.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Bye, Devin.
Okay, bye.